Also, shocker, the hospital called, the neurology department called and said that they didn't really agree with what the anesthesia department had said, which said to wait 20 days and then come in for a test and then reschedule the surgery. But they think that they should still see her on Thursday and that they would call me back to verify. But it's now 4:30 and nobody has called me back. Well, good morning. Welcome back to Teal House Farm Quarantine Edition, take 642. That's what it feels like. Never ever going to get out of quarantine here. But in all actuality, Sam's been in isolation about a week. Nobody else is sick still, but the hospital said, no go, sorry. You have to make it 20 days since the positive test and prove that nobody else has had it before we'll consider surgery, which is really disappointing. Which I understand, but it's really disappointing because it's a super long time and there's a lot of people in this house. And so we're trying to figure out what to do about that because nobody else has got it because we've done a really good job isolating Sam, period. So nobody else is sick, but now I have 6 little kids. It basically feels like anytime you think about, like if we have to go to Walmart or something, like the world is now this dastardly dangerous place of germs and nobody can touch anything. You're walking through Walmart like, because if one kid picks up anything, even like a cold, then we have to get everybody retested, which is expensive, and then, I don't know. So I guess maybe we're not leaving the house again for another month. I don't really know what the practical way to do this is, but Sam still has to go back to work anyway, and he could bring something home and not get sick since he's already had COVID now, or he could bring home RSV or the flu and be sick, and then we start all over again anyway. So just seems like kind of a lose-lose today. But we're not going to let it get us down too much because I have a special treat planned for the girls this morning, and then we are going to see about germinating some seeds because it's already almost the end of January and it's time to get serious about thinking about our spring garden. Since Sam has been in isolation for a week, and that's been kind of hard on the girls anyway because the little ones don't really understand and the big ones do understand, but it's still kind of frustrating to them. So each night I've been having a special night for each one of the girls. It's gone down the line, started with Micah and then went all the way down. And they got to stay up late by themselves with just me, and we popped popcorn and watched a new movie that they'd never seen before that I recommended just for each kid based on what they liked. And then they got to sleep on the living room floor on a little pallet because I've been sleeping on the couch. So it was like a sleepover with Mommy. It was super special. But last night we had been through everybody, and we watched a little show together before bed. The girls love watching the Great British Baking Show. It's like our thing that we do together. And it was the episode before the finale, and they really wanted to stay up and watch the finale. But I was like, no, Mommy has stayed up late every night with everybody. Just go to bed. And so I promised them that this morning I would make them a special breakfast and that we would watch the finale together for breakfast this morning. And so we are going to make a giant German puff pancake, which they love, and I'm going to add some whipped cream and blueberries to the top to make it Great British Baking Show worthy. And last time I had a video with making a giant German pancake, I didn't have anything with the recipe in there, and a couple people asked about the recipe, so I'm going to show you how I make it. It is so easy. I now don't really make pancakes anymore. It just takes too long having to make pancakes individually for so many people. We just flipping pancakes all breakfast, and then they're cold by the time I can get to them. So I now make a giant puff pancake in this cast iron skillet, which is an extra tall one. It's about 10 inches, I think. This one is actually an Amazon Basics, not a Lodge, and surprisingly to me, this has been a great pan. I've had it for probably 4 years now. Never had an issue with it, and it's a little bit lighter than my Lodge pans, which probably is bad because it means it's not quite as, I don't know, cast irony thick. I don't know what to say about that. But it's been a great cast iron pan, and it's very affordable because it's not a name brand. So I'll link this below if you would like a pan like this to try something like this in. If you don't have one, the original recipe said to use a 9x13 baking dish. So you do need something that has taller sides though, so you cannot use your normal cast iron pans with a short side because your poor puff pancake will just boof over the edges and you'll have a humongous mess in your oven. The recipe is really simple. I'm going to link it below. I'll also put it on here while I am making it. So we're going to go ahead and get this started so that we can have a fancy breakfast ready for the girls to watch their show. Make some blueberry syrup and some whipped cream on top, and then got a bunch of eggs from the chickens yesterday, so we'll have some farm fresh scrambled eggs with cheese. I think that'll do it for little kids. Hopefully it'll be special enough for them. And already, it's at 6:45 now, and already here, they're up there. They've already tried to come down. Early. And it makes the day so long if they're up around the house at 6 a.m. Like, oh my gosh, it's I love them, but that makes it a 14-hour day until bedtime, and there's no reason to be up that early. There's nothing to see, there's nothing to do. Go back to bed. Contrary to popular belief, while I do get up early because you have to stay ahead of your day and it's better for everybody, and I'm thankful that I do it, I hate getting up early. Every time my alarm goes off, I just am like,
oh, how I hate to get up in the morning. Oh, how I'd love to remain in bed.
And then you get up and you start with your day and you feel better once you're out moving around. So if you're the kind of person who watches people like me or channels where people are up early doing things, I can promise you almost all of them probably hate getting up early just as much as you do. But if you really want something, you got to get up and you got to do it and you got to get it done. So that's how we move forward, not stay spinning our wheels the same all the time. So we are up. But that doesn't mean that my kids need to get up that early. They need to get their rest and sleep in so that we can have a great day and I can have some quiet time with my own thoughts and talking to you all before they are up, using every percent I have in my brain with questions and needs and wants and little things. So there it is in all of its puffiness and glory. Gonna let it cool down for just a minute. But obviously you can see why you need a tall pan. You can come downstairs. Come on.
Wait, is that my spot?
Sure. Yes, come downstairs.
Yay!
Whoa, JJ, I missed the couch. Hi. Who are we missing? We got everybody? All right, take a seat.
Well, I love patisserie because it gives the baker the chance to show how skillful they can be.
Mom.
Normally, I do not let them eat on the couch.
I need to make it.
Made it this morning, babe. Because they make a humongous mess. It just doesn't matter what you feed them. I could I don't know. I could give them like one cracker and it would look like they had 40 crackers on the couch. But today is actually the day on my cleaning schedule to clean the slip covers, so whatever. Give it your best shot, kids, because I'm gonna clean them anyway. All right, gonna bring Sam his plate. He's still in isolation and he's really, he's feeling better. He still has congestion and I really have absolutely no idea when he will be no longer contagious. I feel like the CDC is just making things up as they go along, so we just figured we'll wait until he's absolutely 0 symptoms, period, to maybe let him out. But yes, I think go back to work today at the farm. He won't be around people, so he can't really infect anybody. But I don't know. I think he's still kind of tired, but hopefully be an easy day for him, so he can get back home and get to rest. Okay, so we are going to test. I love you too. We're going to test some of our seeds from last year and see if they're still any good, so we can figure out what we need to order this year.
Let's go.
So we have kind of a hot mess. Some of these I know are good. So these ones here that haven't been filed away were ones that I bought or harvested here in the fall, so I don't need to do those again. But the ones in my case here
Who gave you these?
are older, and we don't want to waste time planting things that don't sprout. Just
Who gave you these? Who gave you these?
So Ivy, you get green beans. Don't open them yet, okay? Let's see here. See, JJ, you get peppers.
Peppers? I don't like peppers. I got purple. What is that? Can you open it?
Okay, Micah gets cucumbers. So to test germination, it's really simple. We're gonna use some old coffee filters. You could also use paper towels.
I'm gonna open one.
You're gonna wait a minute. Okay. And then we need Ziploc bags. I don't have any plastic ones. I just have my reusable silicone ones, but these are fine. Need some just regular old water and a little bit of time. These are the 4 that we're doing. I've actually only done this once before, so I'm not an expert in this, but I have some seeds that are 2 years old, which is these guys, and in theory they should be fine and usable, but I don't want to put a lot of effort into starting these seeds and then have them be duds, so we're going to just do this germination test, see if they sprout in the wet filters, and then if they don't, then I know that those are seeds I need to replace. If I don't need to replace these, I actually do not need to buy any seeds this year, which is awesome because I either have enough that I saved from the fall or ones that I saved from the garden in the summer from things that we ate or things that we let go past maturity to save the seeds, which is kind of a new thing I'm trying. So that would be pretty cool, like a garden that's pretty much sustained itself. We will open these up and peek in 3 to 4 days, and if they haven't sprouted yet, we'll wet them again, give them another couple days, and if they still haven't sprouted, then pretty sure that they are no good. Alright, I think we're going to wrap the day up there. The girls are playing with a few toys right now. I was taking care of some end of the day things. And then also, shocker, the hospital called, the neurology department called and said that they didn't really agree with what the anesthesia department had said, which said to wait 20 days and then come in for a test and then reschedule the surgery, but they think that they should still see her on Thursday and that they would call me back to verify but it's now 4:30 and nobody has called me back, and when I tried to call, the offices were closed. So now I don't know whether we need to go in for her pre-op appointments tomorrow morning or if the surgery is rescheduled, which is just wonderful. A little extra stress for today. So I'm hoping first thing in the morning, I left voicemails and I sent emails, that somebody gets back to me, because I'm going to be kind of mad if I waste $40 in gas driving there and back, because when we get there they turn us around and tell us to go home. So fingers crossed, maybe surgery will be happening this week, but nobody's in agreement right now about what exposure is and what the timeline is, especially since the CDC just changed their mind about the requirements, so the hospital departments are not all agreeing with each other. I'm sure some of you are really curious about what on earth is going on with Annie's surgery and how Sam is doing. Sam is slowly getting better. He's just really wiped out and fatigued. He tried to go back to his job at the horse farm. He also works at the church, which is a labor-intensive job, and even just an hour there, he was just totally wiped out and back home. So I think he's on the mend, but I think it's taking longer than he wanted to, and he's really wanting to get back to work. To both jobs. Thankfully the church job, a lot of that he's been able to keep up with at home and things like that. So he's doing all right, and still nobody else is sick. Feeling, I don't, knock on wood here, don't want to jinx myself, but I think it's pretty unlikely at this point that anybody else is going to get it, from what I understand from how it passed and the likelihood of it being passed on to somebody after this amount of time, especially with how isolated we have kept Sam. So we're just waiting for him to get over the hump. But let me tell you about today, because today was absolutely insane. It started with us rushing around getting ready to go into all of her pre-op appointments in the city and trying to make sure the kids had everything that they needed, the other kids, and that was all set. And it ended up with us not going in at all and surgery being completely rescheduled. And so I'm not at all upset with the hospital. I understand that they have their regulations, but it was very frustrating because they did not all agree with each other, like with everything else, about whether or not Annie should be able to come in and still have the procedure. So on Monday, so this is 2 days ago now, I got a call from the surgery unit, and the anesthesiologist, and they asked their pre-surgery questions. Has the person had any symptoms? Have you been around anybody with any symptoms? And I explained the situation with Sam, that he had been away from us before he got sick, and that he's been fully isolated since he's been sick. And they said, doesn't matter if he's still in the same house, no matter how isolated he is, she cannot have surgery for 20 days after everybody is healthy, which could be a very long time if it got past somebody else, with there being 6 kids in the house. And so they said we were going to have to reschedule, and that the neurosurgery doctor that's going to do the surgery, his department is going to call us and reschedule the procedure. So of course, disappointed, but this is 2 days out, so at least we had a little bit of warning, and we thought it might be coming, so you kind of like, okay. But then the doctor, his people called and said, basically, no, that doesn't sound right. It's been over a week, and nobody else has symptoms. As long as she comes in and takes a clean COVID test, there's no issue doing surgery. We're gonna call down to the surgery unit and the anesthesiologist and talk to them and let them know that we're gonna go ahead, and we'll call you back later. And then they didn't call back. And on Tuesday night, we were going to go in Wednesday morning. Tuesday night at 4, I tried to call them and left a voice message. I sent an email to the lady that we had talked to saying, I just really need to know whether or not to come in, because her appointments start early in the morning. It's a long drive. I got a lot of kids. I need to know what to do with everybody. And I didn't get any response, and so I got up really early this morning. I got everything ready to go, got the car packed, had plans for the other kids of what they were going to do, got everything that they needed us to bring to all the pre-op appointments, her wheelchair, and all of her bracing, and a lot of other medical notes that they wanted us to bring. I got that all packed in the van, headed on our way, and we get a call saying, nope, don't come in. Unfortunately, anesthesia just said, no way, you're going to have to wait. So here we are. Surgery is supposed to be tomorrow. It's not going to happen, and you know, that's okay. It's now rescheduled for the first week of February, so it's not that long of a wait. And honestly, like, rescheduling it, it's not a huge deal. Sam has some flexibility in his jobs, which we're thankful for. You know, and I stay home with the kids, so I don't have to worry about time off for my job. You know, not some of the nightmares. I mean, they have patients that come in from internationally, and I can't imagine the nightmare it would be if your surgery got postponed last minute. You know, we don't have those issues, and I'm thankful for that. But mentally, it was really, really hard because for the last, little over 2 weeks, the kids and I have been quarantined. The older kids have been disappointed to miss out on church and their activities and their friends and just being able to go anywhere in general. And Sam has been isolated, so it's been just me and the kids all day, every day, not able to, get out if we needed to change the scenery just to freshen up our attitudes a little bit. And then the kids knew that the surgery was coming up, and the older girl especially had a lot of just anxiety, I guess you would say, about the fact that mom was going to be gone for a week. They don't want you to go. They're older kids, but they're still pretty young, and so mommy's really important, and they don't want mom to go, so they're extra clingy because they know they're gonna miss mom, and they don't want you to go. And so the last week, everybody has been very, very needy emotionally, which, you're already kind of drained anyway from being, the single parent during the week while he's been isolated. And then also I've been sleeping on the couch to stay away from him, which isn't a good sleep. So that was hard. And then just having a little baby anyway that wakes up all the time, very tired. It's very emotionally draining, but I just kept focusing on that date. Like, we just got to make it to surgery day. And that's our goal. And then to have them call at the last minute and change that goalpost for 2 more weeks. And, it's going to be 2 more weeks of that quarantine with the big kids being upset they can't go anywhere, and me not be able to go anywhere and just be able to go somewhere and take a breather if I need one. Like, it was just emotionally devastating is the best way to put it. I was very just distraught this morning about it because I was so exhausted, and you were looking forward to that goal, and then it was just like taken away from you and pushed really far back, and you're just like, I do not want to do this for another 2 weeks. Like, I don't have it in me. I'm so tired. And I know it's going to be another 2 weeks with the kids again starting to get anxious about me being gone, and about, grandma's gonna watch them and things like that. And just that change of schedule always makes kids just, they don't like it. They like things the way they are, just I think like all of us do, but they don't necessarily have the tools yet as little people to be able to handle that worry. And so it comes out, is a lot of emotion, a lot of clinginess, just a lot of other things that are frustrating as a parent because you already have a lot to do. But on the bright side, it's not that far away. It's actually less than 2 weeks. And by that time, Sam will be healthy enough that he'll be able to be there on surgery day. He wouldn't have been able to come tomorrow even if he was feeling 100%, just because it hadn't been long enough since he had been, symptom-free. And that itself would have been challenging. You don't want a parent missing for such a big deal sort of thing. And so this way he'll be able to come, be there on surgery day, to be able to swap out with me in the hospital if I need a break from the hospital, things like that. My parents were able to rearrange their plans to still be able to come out for at least part of the surgery week. They were planning before to come out and watch the kids for us, and they're going to be able to really come out this next time and watch them for at least part of the week, which is going to be such a huge help, and we really appreciate them being willing to come 1,000 miles to come to our little farm in all of its loudness and messiness and take care of all the little guys so that we could be there for Annie in the hospital. And as always, I'll repeat myself, we are so thankful for everybody who took the time to send Annie a card or a little package. I have a huge stack for her hidden away that she does not know about, and she is going to be so surprised to get these in the hospital, even if it's going to be 2 weeks later than planned. They're just going to be just as special. And I think, I was looking, we have every state, and we even have some from Canada, which is really cool, except we're still missing Hawaii and Utah. So if anybody here is watching and would love to send a get well little card to Annie for her to open while she's in hospital and help us finish our USA map, we'd love to get one from Hawaii and from Utah. So pretty cool. Anyway, that's the update. Again, if you are curious and want to know how she's doing during surgery, since we only upload 2, sometimes 3 times a week, the videos tend to be a little bit behind. So if you like us on Facebook or Instagram and want to see how she does, you know, just kind of get an update the day after and see how she's doing, if you like us on one of those pages, I'm sure I'll be posting something, because we appreciate all of your good thoughts and all of your prayers and all of your kind words of encouragement. We know that this surgery, it's going to be a hard road for her, but even just talking to other parents whose children have gone through the same thing, just the amount that they gain from the loss of the spasticity in their muscles, just the new things that they can do, and how that tightness is no longer affecting how their bones can grow and their pain levels, like it's almost like a miracle. And so we have really high hopes for Annie and how this is going to help us grow into an adult who's able to do a lot for herself independently and to live a pain-free and mobile life. Thanks so much for watching. We will have a new video for you soon. Little man is ready to say goodbye. He's done sitting here. Say bye, little man. See y'all later.